Hi, this is Paul from FinishYourSong.com, and over the last few videos I've been looking at how to set up your mixes so that you've got good gain staging so that your levels don't clip when you start to mix and as your mix progresses. In this video I want to just sound a note of caution about plugins and how you can easily undermine all the hard work you've done up to this point by not realizing that plugins have a mind of their own. What I've done here is I've got the mix that I looked at in a previous video where I've set everything so that all the tracks peak at -18, and over here we've got our stereo mix. Now what I've done for the sake of fairness is I've muted out all the sends and the EQ curves that I put on. That's all gone. So we're listening to, broadly speaking, the mix just after it's been gain staged with everything peaking at -18 dB. I've got my groups set up, I've got my stereo mix bus, and what I've done is I've replaced the plugins that I used in the mix when I originally did it with one plugin on each channel. And what I've used is a selection of plugins from Waves, and I've used EasyMix by Toontrack. I'm not having a go at those plugins. I've bought them, I use them, and I think they're good. But what I want to do in this video is just show you how they can have an undesirable effect if you don't use them properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the track run. I've picked up the second chorus of this particular song. It's Forever Now by Kevin Blaine. And I've got everything set to 0 and all my gain staging has all the tracks peaking at -18, and you'll see the net result in these group tracks here and in the stereo mix output. Now I've taken out the sends, as I said, and I've also taken out the parallel processing that is on some of the tracks. What I want to focus on is the overall peak level at the stereo mix, the way it's set up. So this is a neutral mix, and I'm just going to play it and you can see the result for yourself. Okay, so that chorus peaks at around -6.9. Well, it was actually playing at a lower level than that until we got to an energetic drum fill at the end. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate all these, and you'll see the effect that that has on the level. Now we're only talking about level here, we're not making an aesthetic judgment as to whether they're the right plugins. What I did was I loaded up the plugin and I just loaded it up with the default setting. That is the setting on this particular plugin, the CLA Vocal Mono Stereo. That's how it comes. I just loaded it up with the default setting. With the EasyMix, I loaded it up and found a suitable setting. In this case we're looking at backing vocals, so I simply went for a backing vocal preset, but I didn't adjust any of the controls. What I'm looking at is the effect these have the moment you load them in. So that was then. We'll reset the meters, bearing in mind our level was -6.9, and here we go. Okay, so the level has jumped. We've gone from -6.9 to -4.9 just by putting some plugins on some tracks. As you can see, a lot of these vocal tracks in the original mix I just made do with EQ and sending them to a reverb. What I didn't do was use plugins on every track. I only replaced the tracks where I originally had put plugins. So here on this B3 I'd put some EasyMix, and here I'd used a lot of plugins on the drums and the bass, so I replaced them each with the Chris Lord Algae drums and bass and the JJP drums and cymbals. And as you can see, some of them in their default mode have leapt from -18 that they were before to -11. Some of them are going a lot down. Some of them are cutting the level back. Either way, you've gone to all the effort of setting your mix up. What you're now finding is that your default settings on your VST plugins are undermining that. So I guess the point of this video is when you're using your plugins, be sure to look at your input and output levels to make sure that what you're getting is to hear the effect and not to be deceived by a volume level change that will make you think it sounds better or worse simply because it's louder or quieter. Hope that helps, and until next time, you take care of yourselves.